My younger sister, who had been abducted for many years, has come back, and my parents burst into tears of joy. They couldn't wait to make up for more than 20 years of regret by buying her a car and a house. My mother held my hand and said with embarrassment, "Zee, your dad, and I love you too, but we've owed your sister far too much. You know that diamond necklace of yours?" That necklace was a birthday gift from my parents when I turned 18. Without hesitation, I took off the necklace. "If Nioneo likes it, then give it to her." Then, on the pretext of a business trip, he took my suitcase and left home. It wasn't until a month later, they came to my company and begged me, in tears, to go home, but I already had a new home. The day Su Nioneo came back, her parents cried for an entire night. They had lost their daughter for more than 20 years, and their lives had long been soaked through with guilt. Now that Su Nioneo had returned, they were determined to make up for their regrets twice over. I stood on the stairs, watching the three of them embrace each other, without the slightest ripple in my heart. After all, I had already seen such a scene once, in my previous life. It was also on this very day and at this very moment that Su Nioneo came home. Back then, I still didn't know that Su Nioneo had antisocial personality disorder. The four of us in the family hugged each other and cried, but just as I was crying, Su Nioneo suddenly slapped me. I was stunned by her blow, clutching my face as I stared blankly at her. Su Nioneo started crying even harder. "I'm sorry, sis. I just thought about how you grew up happily by Dad and Mom's side, while I've been wandering outside for more than 20 years. I couldn't control myself." Mom and Dad immediately felt even more heartbroken for her, and not a single one of them asked whether my face hurt. Once her emotions had settled, she stared at the diamond necklace around my neck again. "Sister, this necklace is so beautiful. I want it." I touched the necklace protectively, hesitating inside. It was a birthday gift from my mom and dad on my 18th birthday. I loved it very much and wore it with me all the time. Mom saw my hesitation, so she said, "Nioneo, Mom will buy you a new one." "Okay." But the next moment, Su Nioneo directly reached out and snatched my necklace. The chain was yanked off by her, leaving a red mark on the back of my neck, and in some places blood seeped out. She pouted, "I just want big sister's necklace." Su Nioneo stared at my face, a trace of a smile appearing in her eyes. "I don't just want sister's necklace, I also want to live in sister's room, everything sister has used, every place sister has lived. I want to experience all of it." I felt a little indignant. We were both daughters of the Su family. Why should I give everything up? But Dad agreed without saying a word. "Zee, Nioneo has just come back home. You're the older sister, so act like one." So, Su Nioneo moved into my room and took over all my things, but her behavior went far beyond that. She began targeting me at every turn. When we were alone, she called me a bitch and a slut, and would even hit me from time to time. And when I told my parents, she put on an innocent face, saying that I had provoked her first. She even played the victim, using her experience of wandering outside for 20 years to make herself look pitiful and win sympathy. My parents always firmly took her side, scolding me for bullying my younger sister, but clearly, every time, I was the one being bullied, until one time, Su Nioneo pushed me down the stairs, and I broke my arm and ended up with bruises all over my body. Even the surveillance footage captured the entire moment she laid hands on me, but Mom and Dad still said, "Nioneo is just feeling unbalanced." As her older sister, "Can't you just be more accommodating? You only broke a bone, you didn't die." But Su Nioneo and I are twins, and I'm only 5 minutes older than her. She was abducted, but that wasn't my fault. Why should I have to bear all of this? I wanted to call the police, but they snatched my phone away. Their blatant favoritism was like sharp knives piercing my heart. After I was discharged from the hospital, Su Nioneo became even more outrageous, but my parents said she was so pitiful that they wanted to take her on a trip to cheer her up. They only bought tickets for 3 people, none for me. Mom said, "Your fracture hasn't healed yet, rest well at home." I also want to." Before I could finish speaking, Mom's expression changed. "Can't you be more sensible? If you hadn't kept provoking Nioneo, how would she have hit you? She gets annoyed just seeing you, so stop shamelessly sticking to her." Mom had always loved me the most, but now, through blurred tears, I saw Mom put on a smile and go greet Su Nioneo. Before they set out, Su Nioneo came to my room. She shed all her disguises and gave me a venomous smile. "Let you fight me for Mom and Dad's love. They can only have me as their daughter. Suzy, go die." but I had never thought of fighting her for mom and dad's love at all. I still wanted to love and care for her together with my parents, so why would she hate me like this after she left? I was sad for a long time, I thought, since mom and dad adored Su Nyeonyeon so much and didn't like me, then I would just leave. It was only when I finished packing and was about to leave that I realized the door had been locked. No matter how hard I knocked or pushed, the door wouldn't budge. The room lost power, and the windows were also sealed shut from the outside. We live in a villa district with hardly anyone around. I called for help, but to my surprise, the cell signal was also blocked. I finally understood what Su Nyeonyeon meant when she said, "Go die." I struggled in the house for a long time, thirsty and hungry. Engulfed in despair, 5 days later, I was literally tormented to death by thirst. More than half a month later, they finally came back. By then, my body had already become infested with maggots. My parents were so frightened that they had nightmares for days, yet they never once thought that Su Nyeonyeon was the one who had killed me. They only blamed me for being so petty and narrow-minded as to use my own life to fight against my parents. After I died, Su Nyeonyeon then set her sights on my parents. She began to suspect that my mother wanted to harm her, and even poisoned her before scalding her with boiling water. Only after mom was pushed down the stairs did she suddenly realize. It had turned out that I had done nothing wrong at all. They took Su Nyeonyeon to the hospital, only to learn that she had antisocial personality disorder. She hated everyone indiscriminately and would stop at nothing to hurt others. Mom and dad were unwilling to give up on her, so they took her home again to recover. Finally, one day, Su Nyeonyeon set a fire, and the three of them died in the sea of flames. I thought I would be reincarnated. Yet I never expected that when I opened my eyes again, I had actually been reborn back to the day Su Nyeonyeon came home, too. Since I know Su Nyeonyeon has antisocial personality disorder, this time, I'll definitely stay as far away from her as possible. So when the three of them were hugging and crying together, I didn't step forward. Dad looked unhappy. "Ziyi, your younger sister is back. Why aren't you reacting?" Before I could answer, Su Nyeonyeon had already set her sights on my neck. "Your necklace is so pretty, sis." Mom didn't suggest discussing it and buying another one like she had in my previous life. Instead, she took my hand and directly asked me to give it to Su Nyeonyeon. "Ziyi, you're Nyeonyeon's older sister. Look at this necklace." I immediately took off the necklace and put it into mom's hands. "If Su Nyeonyeon likes it, then give it to her. If they wanted to make it up to Su Nyeonyeon, then let them make it up to her. This time, I'm not taking part." I went back to my room and started packing my luggage. Just as I finished packing, Su Nyeonyeon walked in. There was undisguised malice in her eyes. "Sister's room is so big and beautiful. I've never stayed in such a nice room before," I said indifferently. "If you like it, move in. From now on, this will be your room." Having effortlessly obtained everything, she instead felt somewhat dissatisfied. "Sister, why are you so calm?" Because I knew that no matter how unwilling or resentful I was, mom and dad would still force me to give everything up. "You're the younger sister, so it's only right that I give it to you." Footsteps approached, and mom and dad walked over. Su Nyeonyeon grinned. She suddenly raised her hand and slapped herself hard across the face, instantly making her cheeks swell and turn red. The next moment, tears welled up in her eyes. "Sister, I was wrong. I don't deserve to live in such a big house. Please don't leave, Nyeonyeon." Mom rushed in, gently cupping Su Nyeonyeon's face, looking at her with heartache. Dad glared at me. "Su Ziyi, Nyenyen just came back. She only wants to stay in your room for a bit. How can you be so inconsiderate? You even dared to hit your sister." I laughed. "After being hit like that, your palm must be red too, right, Mom and Dad? Why don't you take a look and see whether my hand is redder, or Nyenyen's?" Dad was speechless. Mom looked at my hand, then went to feel Su Nyenyen's hand. Seeing her bright red palms, Mom had nothing to say in response. Su Nyeonyeon was crying pitifully, tears streaming down her face. "I was just joking with my sister, Mom and Dad. I'm sorry. I was just too afraid of losing all of this." Mom and Dad were immediately heartbroken again, and completely let go of her, framing me, holding her and crying. Not wanting to have my eyes hurt any further by their family affection, I pulled my suitcase and left. Su Nyeonyeon hurriedly stopped me. "Where are you going, sis? Do you hate me that much, that you don't even want to see me?" Mom wiped away her tears. "Ziyi, Nyeonyeon is just being a little willful. She was only joking with you. What are you doing? Don't you have even a bit of an older sister's grace?" My dad's tone grew even colder and sharper. "Ziyi, you've scared Nyeonyeon. apologized to Nyonieo. I looked at the three of them and gave a cold, indifferent smile. Actually, at first I was heartbroken too. We were both mom and dad's daughters, so why was it that the moment Su Nyonieo came back, I became the target of everyone's blame and was hated by all? I clearly did nothing, yet no matter what happened, Mom and Dad would always blame me. They said I had provoked Su Nyonieo, that I had enjoyed more than 20 years of wealth and privilege, and yet I couldn't even tolerate a younger sister. In my previous life, after I died, they didn't feel the slightest bit of sorrow. Instead, they held on tightly to Su Nyonieo. Mom said, "We still have Niao Niao, that's wonderful." Dad said, "Su Ji was spoiled rotten, he brought it on himself. Maybe I've been in pain so much that I've gone numb, now I actually feel nothing at all." I said calmly, "You're overthinking it, it's company business. I have to go on a business trip for a few days, sis, then you have to come back early." Su Nyonieo came over and gave me an intimate hug. At such close range, I could clearly see the playful smile in the depths of her eyes, as if a naughty child had finally found a favorite toy. It was as if she were saying that as long as I came back, there would be endless torment. My ending, just like in my previous life, was to die with my eyes wide open. I curved my lips, sure, but in fact, I had no intention of coming back forever. 3. After leaving home, I quickly contacted an agent and rented an apartment. My suitcase was full of valuable jewelry, all of which I took to a second-hand luxury shop to sell. Combined with the savings I had accumulated over the years, it was enough for me to live independently. After I graduated from college, my parents wanted me to join the company and start from an entry-level position, but to prove my abilities, I didn't take a job at my family's company. Instead, I hid my identity and found a small company. Now, that actually makes it easier for me to split things up. Rumors about my family quickly spread through the company. "Have you heard? The Su family's daughter has been found." Wasn't the Su family's daughter always around? No, not that one. Another one. The Su family's daughter is a twin. My colleague Xiao Lu asked me, "Ge, do you know about the Su family?" I gave a faint smile. There are so many people with the surname Su, how could I possibly know all of them? Xiao Lu clicked his tongue. There are plenty of Su families, but the richest one is only that one. Ziyi, your luck is just bad. Otherwise, if you were the Su family's young lady, why would you need to come work at our company? I curved my lips. I think my luck is pretty good, having died once and still getting a second chance. I'm already very content. Xiao Lu scolded me for being unambitious, then turned around and went off to gossip with someone else. From their conversation, I learned that my parents had issued an announcement, officially recognizing Su Nyonieo as part of the family and even arranging a manager position for her at the company. Their family was happily reunited, and they had long since forgotten about me. 3 days later, my mom sent a message, "When are you coming back?" Seeing the message, I didn't respond at all, closed the chat window, and kept working. My mom didn't send any more messages either. 5 more days passed, and they finally remembered their daughter, me. My mom called, "Su Ziyi, why aren't you home yet?" I replied calmly, "I go home every day after work." My mom froze for a moment, then said angrily, "What do you mean by that? Have you got a home outside and don't want this family of ours anymore?" I scoffed, "Your home, Mom, so you know that's your home." Then, Mom was at a loss for words, then quickly tried to recover. "You're included in that too, Ziyi. Come back first. If there's anything to say, we can sit down as a family and talk it through. What kind of grudge can relatives hold overnight? But that home doesn't even have a room for me. What would I go back there for? How could there not be?" Mom suddenly realized that Su Nyonieo had taken over my room. Her tone softened a little. "You can just find another room to stay in, you child. You're running away from home over something this small. Aren't you ashamed if people find out? Come back quickly. We made your favorite dishes for dinner." Really, I didn't believe it. Coincidentally, I had to work overtime tonight, and after hanging up the phone, I completely forgot about dinner. At 7 in the evening, I came across a post on my mom's moments. In the photo, my parents were sitting together with Su Nyonieo's family of 3, all smiling brightly, with the table covered in seafood. The caption read, "Having dinner with our most beloved precious daughter." At 8 o'clock, my mom called again, "Ziyi, why aren't you back yet? I'm working overtime. I told you to come home for dinner." "What overtime are you working? How much does that crappy company pay you a month?" I said calmly, "Mom, don't you remember I'm allergic to seafood?" She was left speechless. That whole table of seafood clearly wasn't prepared for me. She changed the subject. "Stop working overtime And come back quickly. Tomorrow, your dad will arrange for you to join the family company, working under Nyonieo, with her looking out for you, will feel at ease. I laughed again. Mom, after I graduated, you had me start at the bottom of the company, so why was Sue Nyonieo able to become a manager right away? Even now, if I joined the family company, I'd still have to work under Sue Nyonieo. Why is that? If I were to work under Sue Nyonieo, the outcome would likely be even worse than in my previous life. We owe Nyonieo so much. I cut her off directly. Compensate me however you want, but don't sacrifice me. My mom was furious. Suzie, why are you so willful? If you don't come back, we'll just pretend we never had a daughter like you. Fine. I immediately hung up the phone and, while I was at it, added her to the blacklist, for soon, my dad's call came in too. I hung up, but he kept calling, over and over, until I directly blocked his number as well. His WeChat messages started popping up non-stop. Suzie, you've got some nerve. How dare you block us? Nyonieo is your biological younger sister. She has suffered so much outside. You should make it up to her properly. I'm giving you 10 minutes to come home right away. Otherwise, I'll sever our father-daughter relationship with you. Given your attitude toward Nyonieo, remember to buy her a gift and apologize. Every word was nothing but blame, with not a hint of concern for me. Looking at the photo from just now, Sue Nyonieo's smile was already barely concealing the ferocity inside her. Her antisocial personality should be about to erupt out of kindness. I still sent Dad a message to remind him, when you have time, take Sue Nyonieo to see a psychiatrist. As expected, my dad's rebuke soon followed. You're the one who should get your head checked. Come back right now and kneel to apologize to Nyonieo. Otherwise, I'll leave all the family assets to Nyonieo, and you won't get a single cent. I couldn't be bothered to deal with him anymore, so I added this contact to the blacklist as well. Next, I devoted all my energy to work. I'll go look at houses this weekend. With my current savings, I can't afford a large flat, but I have more than enough to buy a small second-hand place. I no longer expect anything from family ties, but I can still love myself well. Soon I settled on a small house. The neighborhood was quiet and serene, and the place was decorated just to my liking, ready for me to move in. With just my luggage, after the transfer was completed, I immediately moved into my new home. On moving day, a neighbor came knocking on the door. It was an aunt living alone. She gave me a knitted persimmon flower. Congratulations on your new home. May everything go smoothly for you. We'll be neighbors from now on. Besides the persimmon blossoms, Auntie also gave me a pot of braised pork she had stewed herself. It was tender, soft, and richly fragrant, instantly winning over my stomach and warming my heart on the cold days of early winter. Thank you, Auntie. I beamed. I grew familiar with Aunt Chen. I couldn't cook, so she often called me over to eat with her, and when she had time, she even helped me clean the house. In return, I buy some flowers, plants, and vegetables, things suitable for middle-aged and elderly people, and when I see something she might like, I get her a share too. We often visit each other and have become like family. It wasn't until a month later, I had just arrived at the company, when I saw my mom waiting at the entrance. Seeing me, her eyes lit up, and she immediately came over. As soon as she opened her mouth, she choked up. You've had a hard time during this period. Mom was not nice to you before. Mom apologizes to you. Come home with Mom now. My mom's eyes were bruised dark, and there were still red, swollen marks at the corners of her mouth. She looked a mess. I looked her over and after a long while asked, did Sue Nyonieo do this? My mother's gaze darted away. No, I fell by accident. She was already in this state, and she still wanted to hide it from me. I couldn't be bothered to expose her lie. Please move aside, I'm going to work. Just after taking 2 steps, she grabbed me again. On her now somewhat unfamiliar face, there was nothing but helplessness and pleading. Mom is begging you, please go back. Did Sue Nyonieo ask you to call me back? Mom immediately forced out a smile. Nyonieo and I both miss you very much. A highly obvious trait of antisocial personality disorder is strong aggression. After Sue Nyonieo joined her own company, she could still keep up appearances at first, but before long her true nature was exposed. At the company, she repeatedly assaulted people, and from the general manager to subordinate employees, none escaped her vicious attacks. During one argument with a coworker, she grabbed an ashtray and smashed it directly into the person's head, causing a skull fracture and concussion. The victim spent a week in the ICU before being transferred to a general ward. This matter spread widely, and even our company knew about it. Mom and Dad spent a lot of money to settle the matter, but they also no longer allowed her to go to the company. At home, her violent impulses had nowhere to vent, so she could only take them out on Mom and Dad. I didn't beat around the bush and asked directly, "As long as you call me back, she promised not to hit you anymore, right?" My mom immediately showed a guilty expression. I sneered and shook off her hand. My mom quickly grabbed me again, her voice now laced with panic and fear. "Ziyi, I'm begging you, just go back. As long as you go back, Niao Niao will get better. She's just sick. Your sisters, just spend some time with her. How could someone with antisocial personality disorder possibly get better? She is evil to the core." I looked at her sympathetically. "I can't cure Su Niao's illness. And neither can you. If you truly care about her, send her to a psychiatric hospital." The mother, who had just looked so pitiful and sorrowful, suddenly changed her expression. She clamped tightly around my wrist, her voice turning shrill. "Niao is my daughter. How could I send her to a psychiatric hospital? Su Ziyi, you're far too vicious. You come back with me right now to accompany Niao. Fulfill your responsibility as an older sister, otherwise, I'll sever ties with you. Niao is ill, she needs money more than ever. You go back to work at the company, we'll pay you a salary, but don't even think about seizing any shares." I struggled to pull my wrist free, already leaving a bruised circle on my skin. Enduring the pain, I let out a faint laugh. "Mom, didn't you guys already cut ties with me long ago?" Mom was stunned. I took the chance to push her aside and walked into the company gate. 5. With my mom making such a scene, my identity could no longer be concealed. Soon my colleagues all knew that I was also a daughter of the Su family. Xiao Lu ran up to me, amazed. "Oh my god, Ziyi, you're actually a daughter of the Su family. Then why don't you go work at Su Group and instead come to our small company?" I said calmly. "I want to see how far I can go on my own." She pouted. "A rich girl experiencing life. You're just different from us ordinary people." "No, I'm doing it to stay alive." Xiao Lu didn't understand and walked away grumpily. When I got home from work, I turned on my phone and looked at the footage from the surveillance. The villa was equipped with surveillance cameras, and each family member had their own account to check the home situation anytime. Although I've left home, I haven't deleted my account, so I can still see what's happening there. In the villa's main hall, broken pieces were scattered all over the floor, with food spilled everywhere, and oil stains and messes looking utterly dreadful. Su Niao was screaming hysterically. "Find her for me. If you don't bring her back, none of you will be spared. If you don't go look for her right now, I'll burn this house down." Suddenly, she turned and glared at her mother, her tone fierce. "Mom, you saw Su Ziyi today. Why didn't you bring her back?" Mom trembled. Mom couldn't persuade her. "Niao, Mom will try again tomorrow." Slap. It was Niao who had actually raised her hand. She shook her hand and crazily licked her lips. "Mom, if I can't find Su Ziyi tomorrow, I'll have to use those tricks of mine on you. Stop fooling around." My dad shouted angrily. "Niao, that's your mom." Su Niao grabbed a teacup and hurled it over, nearly hitting my dad on the head. "Shut up." She flashed a bloodthirsty smile. "Anyway, I must see Su Ziyi tomorrow, otherwise none of you will have a peaceful life." After saying that, she stepped over the mess on the floor and went upstairs, leaving her mother trembling and hiding in her father's arms, crying. After crying for a while, the mother finally spoke. "Honey, how about taking Niao to the hospital?" "No way," my father said firmly. "How could my daughter go to a place like a mental hospital? Niao was just traumatized before. If we treat her well, she'll get better." My mother whispered tearfully. "But she's now. Go find Su Ziyi back. As long as she comes back, Niao won't attack us." Hearing their words, I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. Su Niao is their daughter. So am I not. To satisfy one daughter's twisted psyche, must another daughter be trampled underfoot, her flesh and blood used as food? In my previous life, I discovered it too late. Fortunately, in this life, it's not too late. 6. I still remember Su Niao's phone number from my previous life. I sent her a message. The content was quite provocative. "Su Niao, Mom and Dad have already started to dislike you. In the end, they will beg me to come back in tears, while you only deserve to live in a mental hospital." After sending it, I blocked her immediately. I could even imagine Su Niao's helpless rage on the other end. The angrier she gets, the calmer I become. I even invited Aunt Chen to go on a trip together. We went to Hainan together, running on the beach, basking in the sun, and even went tide pooling. getting so excited over finding a small seashell. It wasn't until the day we returned home from our trip, just after getting off the plane, that a piece of news caught my attention. A fire broke out inexplicably in a certain residential area. Fortunately, the homeowner was away, and there were no casualties for the time being. The police suspect arson. At a glance of the news photo, the house that was burned turned out to be mine. I wasn't shocked. Instead, I felt a sense of, finally, it happened. Before going on the trip, I had installed surveillance cameras in the hallway, at Aunt Chen's door, and around the building. Then I deliberately provoked Su Nyonieo. Given her current level of awareness, she couldn't possibly realize how severe the consequences of her actions would be. She would only grow to hate and resent me even more, while the violent tendencies within her would constantly urge her to commit harmful acts. With multiple factors at play, she finally acted exactly as I had anticipated. Su Nyonieo managed to find my address through some means. On the surveillance footage, she was seen carrying a bucket of oil late at night, arriving at my place, splashing the oil, and setting the fire, all in one swift, seamless motion. Staying at Aunt Chen's place temporarily, I reported to the police, providing the surveillance footage and all of Su Nyonieo's information. Soon, Su Nyonieo was arrested with charges of arson and attempted murder. She is likely to be sentenced to around 10 years. My parents suddenly became frantic. They hurriedly found my residence. Your sister has been arrested. Hurry up and think of a way. Write her a letter of understanding, quickly. Just say you sisters were only joking around, and that the fire wasn't set by her. I said calmly, she'll only endanger society out there. It's probably better to keep her locked up. Mom cried anxiously. Nyonieo has already lived a miserable life for more than 20 years. Do you want her to keep suffering like that in the future? How can you be so cruel? Dad rushed over to hit me. You're unfilial yourself. And now you won't even let Nyonieo be filial to us, you ungrateful wretch. Aunt Chen stepped in front of me. Are you even fit to be parents? What kind of parents bully their own child like this? You clearly know that that girl deliberately set the fire to try to kill Yi, and yet you're still protecting her. You two are truly unfit to be parents. How dare you shamelessly ask Yi to forgive you? Bah, I'm going to post your disgraceful behavior online and let the internet judge you. Aunt Chen opened her phone to start recording. When my parents saw that, they immediately panicked and turned around to leave. After driving them away, Aunt Chen hugged me. Don't be afraid, Yi. Auntie's here. Even without any blood relation, I still felt the care and concern of an elder. My heart felt warm. My parents came to beg me a few more times afterward, but I kept them out. After Su Nyonieo was arrested, they returned to an ordinary life and finally came to their senses. Their younger daughter had been abducted, and out of a need to make up for it, they unconditionally favored her and spoiled her, even sacrificing everything of their elder daughters. In the end, both daughters ended up owing a debt. Later, when they came to see me again, they were no longer asking me to forgive Su Nyonieo. Instead, they were asking me to come home. I still refused to meet them. It wasn't until the day of the hearing, when I went to court, that I finally saw my parents. As soon as she saw me, Mom burst into tears. I'm sorry. She hugged me and cried bitterly. Come home. Mom and Dad have wronged you. You've had a hard time during this period. We already know we were wrong. Can you forgive Mom and Dad? I shook my head. It's okay. She looked overjoyed. You forgive us, I said indifferently. There's no need for forgiveness. From now on, let's each live our own lives well. If I forgave them, how could I ever face my past self from my previous life? Tears once again gushed from my mother's eyes. She knew that I would never be able to forgive her, but she and Dad still held my hand tightly and attended the court hearing with me. 7. After being detained for a while, Su Nyonieo looked much more haggard, but when she saw me arriving with my parents, she suddenly seemed to burst with renewed strength and tried to break free from the restraints and lunge at me. The staff quickly held her down. Dad, Mom, she called out aggrievedly. Mom turned her head away in pain, while Dad looked troubled and called her softly. Nyonieo, behave well and reform. Your mom, your sister, and I will all be waiting for you to come back. Su Nyonieo pressed her lips together, her gaze turning sharp. You brought her back home? Dad sighed. Ziyi is your older sister. We're a family. Su Nyonieo let out a cold laugh and said nothing more, but the stubbornness and ruthlessness in her eyes were still there, as if tangible. Landing squarely on us, the trial moved quickly, and the final verdict was not much different from what I had expected. Su Nyonieo was sentenced to 8 years. After it was over and we left, Aunt Chen was waiting for me outside. She took my hand and walked Off with me directly, come on, Auntie braised a pork knuckle and made dumplings too, let's go home and eat something delicious. My parents looked at me eagerly, but they didn't dare come forward and hold me back, they knew I would definitely refuse. In the end, my mom said stiffly, you, remember to come home, okay? I shook my head and gave a faint smile. That stopped being my home a long time ago. My dad snorted, no matter what, the Sioux family blood still flows in your veins. In this life, family ties had already become